Good Tuesday evening, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center taking a look at that current Doppler radar picture here across North Florida and South Georgia. You can see here looking pretty clear and quiet at this point. We had some showers and storms around earlier, a little bit of wind damage toward the Big Bend there. We're keeping our eye on some of the acts, and we did have a warning, but the wind damage came from some other acts in there, especially as we were looking toward areas there around Leon County earlier on, but nothing too significant. Now tomorrow, though, we do have a marginal risk of severe weather in play, so a more substantial, organized type threat. Nothing extreme necessarily, but for this time of year, we got a marginal risk actually. They're back on Monday for Wednesday, which doesn't happen all that often, so a little more confidence here in maybe some shower and thunderstorm acts and going severe from time to time tomorrow. We're going to have a frontal boundary here that's influencing the weather. I know we had that frontal boundary there come on through as we're looking back toward the weekend there. I know Monday morning, yesterday morning, getting down to 63 degrees. It was refreshing out there. And then that was here east of Stark and 64 degrees toward Jacksonville. So some of the coolest area you'll really ever see in the morning hours in August here. We saw that yesterday morning, but it was pretty warm out there today. Looking at my readings here, 93 degrees for that high here toward the east of Stark. And you see temperatures doing the 70s and 80s right now with those latest observations here where I'm at 77 degrees at this hour. Got a little bit of a sprinkle out there earlier on, a little bit of downpour accent depending on where you're at, but at least here in toward eastern Bradford County, didn't see too much in the way of precipitation. You can see here on the 12-hour rainfall estimates a little more toward the Big Bend, had some accent there toward Nassau County, toward Camden County, some toward northern Marion County, some west of Interstate 75, Gainesville area, and then toward Palatka. But increased coverage of storms is expected here as we look toward your Wednesday, toward your Thursday. I know I have my FSU tie on here. I have my garnet and gold on, and that is for the FSU move-in period. Folks are getting ready to start their fall classes, maybe freshmen moving in even. That is something that's so exciting, of course, and though we do have to watch out for showers and storms. Just remember when thunder roars go indoors. I know for tomorrow, really before 2 o'clock, is a better situation there in terms of weather for you to be trying to move in versus after 2 o'clock. I know some of that may get preset, but nonetheless there, I just gotta kind of be careful there when that thunder roars. Try to go indoors the best you can there in this type of situation here this time of year. But again, an influence of a front could enhance things a little bit here, so we have to watch this. Some of this action could be a bit more vigorous at times, nothing extreme necessarily, but definitely could see a decent amount of warnings here on your Wednesday. We're not always able to say that in advance here this time of year. Doesn't mean it'll happen. We've had a bust here in these type of scenarios before. Sometimes you don't get enough instability, but it looks like we're going to get enough instability build up, especially tomorrow. I have 94 for that high, which we'll see all here that in a few minutes. So that's something that could really kind of get the instability going. But real quick, national storylines. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in Oklahoma here. You can see west of Elk City getting into some of this acts, and another severe thunderstorm warning there toward Yuma County, Arizona, to the east of the city. You can see 104 out there as we get in towards some pretty desert type areas there. This storm actually nearly stationary, so some interesting acts and as we get out that way, but nothing too significant on the national level. You know, we had some tornado warnings toward Texas, southern Texas, and also there toward North Carolina yesterday, getting some spin-up acts and try to get going. Even North Dakota had some warnings here over the last couple days, even some reports, and no tornado warnings, but we actually had a water spout there off the Panhandle coast out of our area this morning as we're looking toward Destin. I mean, pretty interesting to see if you've seen the video on social media there. Water spout, but it doesn't come ashore, so that's good news. So not a tornado, but you can kind of see just a really well-defined structure there. And you see out toward Hattiesburg some shower and storm acts and a flash flood warning in play right now for it looks like parts of Wayne County there in Mississippi. So, and they've also had to deal with some severe weather as we look toward the Arklamis, some warnings out there. You can see toward the Carolinas, temperatures there looking pretty nice right now. I mean, you see 56 there even toward areas in parts of Virginia. So just kind of intriguing to see. I mean, We're only a couple months away, I guess you could say, from fall, but but we still got some more time, and of course we still have to watch for hurricane season. I wish we could just jump ahead past hurricane season now. So far it's been really quiet, but we can't jump past hurricane season here as we look at the graphics. As you see, Danielle is our next name. It's been our next name for a while, which is good. Haven't seen that develop, but we could have seen that develop off toward that South Texas area. I think we got pretty close to getting some type of tropical depression down there, to be quite honest. It had that spin to it. If it would have developed like that, maybe over water, it might have gone ahead and classified it, or Roy been making some notes about that out there, everybody. But had some flash flooding concerns down there towards South Texas, so it really did need to rain. So it was beneficial in some regard toward Corpus Christi, toward Brownsville, Laredo, some of the spots in between. But as we go ahead and say now, tropical probability forecast next 5 days. You saw, by the way, quite a few more named storms still expected, as we've been reiterating according to Colorado State, but 20% chance here development toward maybe the Bay of Campeche here as we look ahead in the next 5 days. Maybe that funnels moisture up there toward Texas as well. We'll just kind of have to wait and see here. And we have some indications and model guidance. It's not on this graphic, but could get some development further off toward the east there in the Atlantic. So just got to wait and see. Even with this, I mean, the models have been picking up on some different things now. They've been pretty quiet for a while, and we're starting to see some different systems maybe try to develop here. But right now, this is the only one tagged with a chance of development in the next 5 days. One as we look towards Central America that could evolve as we get toward the Bay of Campeche. We'll just have to see exactly where it goes from there. But we'll be watching that all for you here in the Weather Center. And of course, when we're not on the air, you can get the latest look at this map, not with the percentages necessarily, but cloudweather.com/tropics will give you that. You can also just go straight to the National Hurricane Center site and read the discussion as well. Just go ahead and search for that on Google. You'll find that pretty quick there. nac.noaa.gov, though, just off the top of my head. But go ahead and see our severe weather risk for tomorrow. Now, wanted to emphasize that morning you should be sitting pretty good. If you have morning plans, don't cancel them. Lunch plans, don't cancel them. But after 2 o'clock, that's when we could have some storms pretty organized in nature in some regard develop. Maybe, again, nothing extreme, but damaging winds, the main threat, just more of those type of storms and more cover to that axis than we would generally see this time of year. So just be prepared for that if you're moving in at FSU or just going out and about here. We want everybody to be safe there. Be careful as we're watching things across the viewing circle, and we'll be on if and as necessary. But when we're not on, you can go to cloudweather.com there /radar, and you also have cloud_WX on Twitter for the automated alerts that come out in terms of severe thunderstorm warning action that evolves as soon as it comes on out from the Tallahassee or Jacksonville office. That should be tweeted on out there. I don't have to do anything on my end, so that's helpful there. That part of some tools we have from the Iowa Environmental Mesonet. But again, it gives you the text of the warning, get that, and then kind of know what to do there even before it really gets widely distributed. And then as that does so on a different account, we'll make our call whether to go on or not. And obviously, any tornado warning in our 62 counties, not expecting that type of threat, but if anything like that were to materialize, we'll be on, of course, immediately Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, like we have for every tornado warning storm to move through the area here since late 2019. So that's very important to me. As we go ahead and look here toward that rainfall forecast the next 7 days, you can see toward some of these different areas here, increase in moisture, like toward Arkansas, for instance, eastern Oklahoma, some spots maybe 5+ inches on average. And now I kind of hinted at it in the description and look at what we could expect here locally. You can see here some of these different numbers. I mean, southeast Georgia maybe a little bit more on average, maybe 2 to 3 inches. As we look further up towards Savannah here, I'll kind of point things out for you a little bit. You can kind of see what we're talking about there in that lighter red to darker red. And then as we kind of get further toward North Florida, lesser amounts, but still we're talking about on average here about 1 inch or so. So that's something to be kind of watching for. I know the Jaguars take on the Steelers there in the NFL preseason matchup on Saturday night at Everbank Field. So that'll be something to kind of keep our eyes on here, see how the weather interferes with that. Hopefully it doesn't. Got pretty lucky there last Friday night against the Cleveland Browns there Just some passing sprinkles around. It seemed nothing too noteworthy. They did have some storms that night towards St. Augustine. We had a considerable flash flood threat that we had to come on for Saturday night. There, keep an eye on that Buccaneers-Dolphins game. When we started to really see that considerable threat not there, they got lucky as well. But toward Gaston County and the Florida Big Bend, really saw things come together there. Unfortunately, with several inch totals, and this does not say that you couldn't see a situation like that in spots. This is just a broad average. I mean, we could definitely see a flash flood warning or two. That's not out of the question here. As we look ahead, and again, cloudweather.com/radar for an interactive look at things when we're not on the air, and that automated Twitter account as well, cloud_WX there. So let's go ahead now and move on over toward that extended forecast now. You can see, just remember that thunderstorm accident can be dangerous. And when thunder roars, you just want to go ahead and go indoors. You don't want to mess around if you can help it here, because of that lightning, that electrical energy can be very dangerous, potentially deadly, like what we saw there up toward the U.S. Capitol there not too long ago with 3 fatalities being reported. But 60% chance there of rain on your Wednesday, 70% chance on your Thursday, 60 on Friday. So definitely a pretty wet stretch here at times. Again, don't cancel those early plans. That's something to kind of keep in mind as we look toward that Thursday here. Now, that chance is a little bit higher, as I just alluded to, and some of that accident could be a little bit more on the side of nuisance type rains here at times. Of course, we have to keep our eyes on things to see if we get strong to severe storms evolve. The strong storm threat is there on Thursday, but we'll just kind of keep our eyes on that, because there may not be quite as much instability with that core reading at 90 degrees here. We'll just kind of watch that, maybe getting development earlier on even. So that could be kind of a factor against that, but you just never know here. This time of year, when we get that stagnant type setup here, you see as we look here towards Saturday, Sunday, those temperatures there, 91 degrees give or take, so an increased some is being seen here in this forecast. And as we get to the rest of the outlook, you can see 91 degrees there on that Monday, 92 on that Tuesday. As you start to get those classes going there at those universities, you see 50% chance of rain around. So still might have to have that umbrella in hand, that rain jacket, something to that effect here. Just be mindful. And you see the lows really about average for this time of year. I have 91 for the average high on here, and that's generally what we will be seeing here this time of year. So that's something to kind of just look at here and see, and kind of just know that we're about normal for this time of August as we're looking toward the middle of the month or so. Again, those schools, those primary, secondary schools, I'm talking about getting back in the swing of things, and now it's time for the colleges and universities here as we look ahead in the timeline. So that's something we'll continue to watch for. And speaking of the colleges and universities, let's go ahead and take a quick look outside there right now. If the camera is up toward Tallahassee, and it is, you can see here, we'll give you this viewpoint from the Florida 5-1 perspective. You don't see any wet roads or anything like that, so that's some good news there. Kind of just showing you how the ground looks, and you see things looking pretty tame there toward Jefferson Street at Woodward Avenue right now. And then let's go ahead and give you some other views outside. You'll be able to see as we get toward I-75 at 441, maybe seeing an increase of traffic, people getting ready there to go ahead and get toward those college towns. As we look ahead in the timeline, again, just giving you that look outside. This is toward Lake City, to clarify there, and then this is toward Gainesville. You can see here, this is I-75 there in that area as well, toward I-95. Look toward International Golf Parkway, and then as you get toward Hendricks Avenue in Jacksonville, the sky looking pretty good right now. Again, the rain kind of moving on out here pretty early on, but we'll keep our eyes on things as we look ahead toward that Wednesday there. I just kind of have to see how things go, see how things play out, of course, here as we're watching things as they do progress. So let's go ahead now and take those cameras off. You can see here, again, look at the region. You see a little bit of sprinkle action toward areas there around Panama City, but nothing too noteworthy right now, and some action off the east coast of Jacksonville, but no special marine warning with that, so that's good. No waterspout potential that's apparent here at this moment, at least not too close to shore, but as that's not something that would be affecting them. It's moving away, but you can kind of see that under progressing. But we'll just go ahead again and be here in the Weather Center as needed tomorrow to provide you the latest information to protect you, your friends, and your family. Just checking my notes real quick, make sure we mentioned everything we need to. I know that football game there for the Seminoles only about a week and a half away right now. The tropics look pretty good for that, but you don't want to rule anything out here this time of year, as the Noles will be taking on an opponent there from FCS. So again, that'll be something that hopefully is ending in a Noles victory here next Saturday. Again, just about a week and a half away. That game at 5 o'clock kickoff there on the ACC network. So again, just kind of seeing how things play out for that. Hopefully we don't have any rain or storms around. I know we had that weather delay in that Georgia Tech game, the first one of the year there in the pandemic shortened season there in 2020. So hopefully we don't have any type of delays in the action there, anything like that. Of course, you always have to watch for that second game of the year toward New Orleans. Just watch New Orleans in general, because obviously around Labor Day weekend it is about to peak of hurricane season, and there will be a game there, or at least there's scheduled to be one, with FSU and LSU. So hopefully the weather doesn't interfere with that, but we'll be on top of everything for you here in the Weather Center. Nothing that says it will right now, but you just always have to watch here based on climatology this time of year. Have a great night, everybody. We'll be here as needed tomorrow and Thursday as well here as things develop. Hopefully they don't evolve in anything too potent, but if they do, we'll have you covered here on all the different platforms, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. And if we get kind of lucky, of course, tune into that for more update Thursday night.